everybody. Welcome back to Nirvana Comics. I'm Grant Mitchell, one of the store owners. I'm here with Thundercats artist Drew Moss, of which I'm sure is going to be the first of many interviews he'll be doing over the coming weeks about Dynamite's smash hit Thundercats #1. Drew, say hello to the fine people of Nirvana.
Hello.
This is our first interview with a comic book artist, so thank you for being our first. Yes.
It's a pleasure.
But it's kind of funny how we got you here the week that the book came out. Can you tell us about how that came about?
After New York Comic Con, I guess that was in November or October, I can't remember, but you guys contacted me, I want to say a week after the announcement, asked me to do the store signing, and you guys are actually the first of many stores that wanted this particular weekend, the opening weekend. Some of them stores, you know who you are, were being a little shady about it, trying to bribe me to come, but I'm a man of my word.
That means so much to us.
And actually, I was actually very flattered that you guys asked me so soon. Like, I didn't nobody, not just me, but nobody expected Thundercats to do what it did.
Like over 200,000, I believe. Sold, right?
Over 200,000 is what I was told.
Some 90s numbers.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, who would think, 80s nostalgia, with the general, I mean, the thing is, we wrote this for everyone, but man, the support, the love we've gotten from everyone on this book. I just posted 3 or 4 reviews that I was tagged in last night that were like, oh man, they were touching. Just how thorough and how much they seem to love the book. So it's very flattering and humbling to be on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, and it does deserve to sell 200,000 copies. It's a damn good book. I was not quite a child of the 80s. I missed it a little bit. But, I felt so connected to these characters, having not grown up watching the show. And I know the people who did grow up watching the show, they just love it,
Yeah.
So what drew you to the series?
Actually, I've been a fan since I was a child. I think I was 9 or 10 when it was on TV. It would come on every day after school. So I was actually working on Gargoyle Starcade. That's a plug. Gargoyle Starcade is at the time. It was before New York Comic Con. It might have been in October. My editor comes to me and he goes, "Hey, have you ever drawn Thundercats?" I was like, "Of course. I've probably drawn Thundercats 100 times." And he goes, "Cool. Send me what you've done." And I was like, "For what?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. I just send me what you've done." And I looked everywhere. And apparently I have never drawn Thundercats before. I emailed him. I said, "Hey, man, I can't find anything online or on my files." He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "What? I mean, is this for something?" And he's like, "I can't say. Don't worry about it." But it reignited an itch with me. So I drew Lino, right after I sent the email, after I received his. I sent it to him, and I got no reply. And then I drew Panthro. I sent it to him, no reply. So I was like, oh. I woke up the next day. I drew Mumra. Sent it to him. No reply. Then I drew Tigra. I sent it to him. No reply. So this is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday morning, I get an email from him, and he goes, "I can officially ask you if you would like to, or offer you the job of Thundercats." And I was like, "What?" I thought Warner Brothers, DC Comics, he's like, "No, we're doing it. Don't tell anybody." Obviously, everybody knows now, because the Warner Brothers deal hadn't quite been done yet. And then he was like, "You know why you got the job?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "They said you were so enthusiastic."
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so enthusiasm and persistence works most times.
Yep, it does. Hey, that's what got you here.
It did get me
that's
here.
what got you here. Yeah. So you actually talked to me about this a little bit the other day about the challenges of drawing characters that, had to get approved or that previous artwork already existed of that were known. Can you talk about that a little bit with what you can talk about?
Yeah.
And maybe about because you took your own personal take on it, especially one character. You added something that was a little, So why don't you walk us through that?
So the Thundercats, the thing with the Thundercats, when I was first told I was doing it, they're like, we're going to need you to redesign everyone. Which I guess most people would be like, oh my God. But I was like, cool. Because then the little kid in me was just like, oh man, like, what did I do when I was a kid? Like, I remember drawing them and doing sometimes my own thing. So I had a small sketchbook and I drew all these pencil drawings and I sent them and they were like, no, that's too different. Because, it was like my childhood indulgence. And I was like, okay. And they were like, well, we want to keep it anchored and grounded in the OG. Like, we want the love of the original and nostalgia to come through, but we also want it updated. If you can just ground it in the original, like, we would love to see that. So I did one pass of I did Lino, Panther, and Chitara, and I was real scared. So I kind of, like I said, I held back a little. They immediately, great. These are great. So then I did, this is the one, Tigra, Wily Kit, and Wily Cat, and Mumron, all the rest, but those three in particular first. But I was feeling myself a little bit, so with Tigra, who's my favorite, I gave him handlebar mustache. I really pushed what I thought was what they would allow. I really didn't think that was gonna happen. They were gonna go, what? No. But the odd thing was, the minute I submitted it, all I got was, that looks rad. And I went, okay. All the designs, other than that first pass with the sketches, were approved like that. I was shocked. I think everybody was shocked. They were just like, these are perfect. I could feel the original, but I also feels modern. So, I did not think Tiger was gonna. Oh man, I was gonna.
So, that's fantastic. What actually drew you into comics?
What drew me into comics? Okay, it's a long story. When I was 5 years old, I lived with my grandparents. My mother and I did. My father went to Germany, and we were left here. And I would watch the old 1969 Spider-Man cartoon in rerun every day. That old campy Spider-Man, that. And every day after dinner, my grandfather would smoke his pipe on the porch, because we lived in West Virginia, in Canal Boulevard, across from the river. So river, cars driving by. He would name the cars as they went by. He'd go, that's a Volkswagen Bug, or that's a Ford, Chevy Camaro, and he named the year. He was good at that. But what I would do is recount that episode of Spider-Man. I would probably ramble for about 2 straight hours of stuff that definitely didn't happen during Spider-Man. But I would create these stories of fly twins and octopus people, and he would just listen, smoke his pipe, and then when we were done, he'd tap it out, and as we were walking in, he'd always look at me and go, "Don't forget to watch Spider-Man tomorrow, because I want to know what happens." And that happened every day for, I don't know, I moved away from there when I was 6, almost 7, so a year and a half. Unfortunately, in 1990, when I was 15 years old, my grandfather developed a brain tumor, which he eventually passed from. But me being a teenager, I never dealt with death like that, or seeing somebody fade away. And he was a very important person in my life. So I didn't know how to deal with it, so I just told him, I was like, for you, I'm going to draw Spider-Man professionally. That is, something I'm going to do. Is that self-serving? I don't know. Did it make me feel better? Because, does it really matter to him? I don't know, but I was 15 and I didn't know how to deal with death. So that's what I said. There was a few rough years. I might have rebelled for a good 5 or 6 years. Then my wife told me we were having a baby, and I recommitted to comics and doing something with my life. And that's where it started. I guess I always tell my son, you were the reason my life changed in more ways than one. So I've got Spider-Man tattoo right here because of it. And to announce, I did do toy boxes for Hasbro last year, and I got to do Spider-Man. So I count that as a check.
Yep.
Yeah, so my wife cried. She was just like, you did it. And I was like, yeah, it feels crazy, right? Like, I finally did it. So he's also my favorite superhero. So, yeah, look, Rico, this is you. I know this is your shirt. So, but yes, that's why I do comics. It's all him, my grandfather. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm trying to cry right now. Actually, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful. That's fantastic. So you got in the industry.
Yep.
You know, you've been working here for a bit. What's some of the fun parts about working in comics?
To be honest, meeting people who love comics, like just seeing. Like I told Declan when I came here, I was like, man, this is my first chance to see how people feel about Thundercats. Like reading this stuff, it's awesome, and I appreciate everything. I am humbled by every kind word. But to see people go, man, I really, really love this book, or, oh, I love this part, and I love it, and just seeing their faces light up, that is probably my number one favorite thing. That, like, maybe, because, I mean, there's comics when I was a kid that I remember Art Adams drew, or Walt Simonson drew, or and Bernie Wrightson, like, that really did something to me, made me feel great. And then if I could do that for someone else, that's the best. Like that goes beyond my life. But also, it's really cool just to work on stuff that you just never thought you were gonna do. Like with Thundercats, I got to work on the Crow. Mask, which I got to draw Zartan, and Omega Supreme, I got to draw Transformers, doing toy boxes or doing stuff for movies that you're like, man, this is crazy. It's really those big things that you really can't share with anybody else, but it feels good to you because you're just like, it almost seems not real. Mm-hmm. Those moments are pretty awesome. And of course, I mean, doing the art, but it's the people you interact with. I love meeting people who've worked on things way bigger than me because I love their stories. I'm a big story guy, so I don't know, and I don't really get free stuff. So even if I did, I don't know if that would be like a bonus. But yeah, that's what I really like about comics. I like being in the dark, enjoying stuff people don't get to know about. Mm-hmm. And I love the interaction with the fans and the love, even the hate sometimes that they give if they put a lot of effort into it. I appreciate the effort because I mean that takes a lot of work too to hate on something.
Well, that seems like a great place for us to kind of wrap up here. So we're going to go out with this one question. We'll ask you, then we'll ask our audience. What is the next 80s franchise you'd love to see revived in comic form?
Oh, they already did G.I. Joe, Transformers. He-Man is... I know they haven't done a new He-Man comic in a while. Thundercats. Everybody says Silverhawks, but I remember Silverhawks, so I'm not going to say that. Yeah. Either Bionic 6... or Centurions.
Bionic 6 or Centurions. Those are both great answers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Those are my franchises I would love to see done again.
Well, I asked this to you guys. What 80s franchise would you like to see revived? Answer in the comments. If you participate, you get a chance to win a free signed copy of Thundercats #1. But guys, thank you, Drew, for joining us today as we learn to do this new video series here. But yeah, it's been a pleasure having you here, and I can't wait to see what you're doing next.
Oh, me either. I'll be on Thundercats for a while, though. At least for 12 issues. So
That's awesome.
I have no idea what's happening after that. I mean, life of a freelancer, man. You only know what's going to happen like a month at a time. So.
Well, judging by your work, you will not have that problem for much longer.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
big
I
fan.
appreciate
So,
it. Thank you.
Guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.